Opinionated Idiot.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday afternoon. It is May 12, 2023. Welcome back to another episode of the Opinionated Idiot live show. The chat is buzzing on this Friday afternoon. I want to welcome everybody in. The crowd should be filling in here. I thought I'd give you a little bit of some lunchtime content today. Lunchtime content. Yes, we have a new video from Mr. Handsome himself. Everybody loves the lawyer, Peter Tragos, and we're going to get his opinion on the new document dump in the Bryan Kohberger Idaho 4 case. We're going to watch through the search warrant video, the Bryan Kohberger stop video that was about on 10/14/2022, about a month before the murders, and he's also going to go through some video footage, body cam footage of King Road and kind of give his reaction and his opinions as to what's going on. And then also what we always love about Peter is that he always goes through these legal documents and gives us some clarity because he is a lawyer. Open invitation to Peter. I've reached out to you before. I'd love you to come over on the panel and hang out just for 20 minutes if you could do that, just to get some clarity into what's going on in this case, what your opinions, what your thoughts are. So, Peter, I hope you don't mind that I'm using your video today, but if you are watching, you happen to see this video on replay, open invitation to you. You can email me at theopinionatedidiot@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on the show. And I know my audience here, all the ladies in the room, would love to see Mr. Handsome on the screen as well, too. So let's do this like we always do. We will go up in the chat. We'll pull up some chatters, see how everybody's doing. Devil Dog. I'm hungry right now. It's lunchtime. I was thinking of Devil Dog, but Devil Doll 666. She says, I'm checking in. I'm just making quick coffee. Let's see. Harlot's here. She says, just finishing up making my coffee as well. Danielle's here. How are you? Good to see you. We got Dr. Bob. He says, we retired people are here. It's good to see you. Candy is here. Good to see you as well, Candy. Hope all is well. Says Mr. Chosen is at work, so if you have to lay down, you have to lay down for the fort. That's awesome. Yep. Vanderhoof is here. Thank you so much. And we have a new member. Vanderhoof has become a supporter of the channel, so I want to appreciate her on her membership. Thank you very much for the support on the channel. Great, thank you. Give her another round of applause. Show that new membership there. Thank you so much for your membership and the support. We have our Japanese friend over in Japan. Says hello, everyone. And Brian-san. Well, hello to you. I don't know if it's at night or in the afternoon over there, but whatever it is, I hope it's all good. We're reaching global. We have fans in Japan. This is great. We have fans in Japan. Brenda's here as well. She says, good morning, Brian and everyone. It's Jordy's in the house. She says, Brian, you look like you got some sun. Well, it's a little sunny here today, as you can see in the background. The sun is peeking through. It's very nice here in the New England area, and I can't wait to get outside and enjoy a little sunshine, some vitamin D. You need all that vitamin D. George says on the brink of 4,300. Yes, we're on the brink of 4,300. We're getting there. We're getting close to 5,000. I think Publicly Buzzed reached 5,000 the other day. So congratulations on that as well. We are two of the most rising channels in the true crime genre. We're reaching our ways to the top. So I wish everybody well over there as well. I hope he reaches 10,000. That's my goal by the end of the year. But I want that $5,000 before that June 26th June 26th hearing. The hearing, yes. Let's keep going through here. I think we've gotten everybody in the chat. All right, I'm not going to waste anybody more time. Let's bring up Superman himself, Peter Tragos. And again, the open invitation, Peter, if you'd love to come on. And I hope that you don't mind that I'm commentating through your video. Now, I did watch half of this, believe it or not, in the shower today. So I got halfway through it. He's going to go through a lot of the body cam footage first, give his opinion, and then start getting into the legal documents. And that's what we love here. That's what we love on this channel. We like straight facts. We like an expert's opinion. We like to hear what they think is going on. Now, my understanding now, looking through these documents, looking through these motions, what my opinion is that Ann Taylor is slowing down this getting to trial, putting a lot of motions in there, questioning a lot of things, as you would think any defense lawyer would do. They are trying to prepare if this goes to trial, and they're really slowing things down, questioning a lot of things. And that is, that's what you want out of your defense team. Now, we know Kohberger has added now a third lawyer on the defense team. So they're really lawyering up. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow night on the Super Show. I'm going to have Agent Chase Laura back on the panel. We have another presentation for you, so you're not going to want to miss Saturday Night Live tomorrow night. I'm going to drop the link there. Make sure you go over, click your remind button. That's going to be tomorrow night, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have a fantastic presentation for everybody, and we're going to question: did Xander Knodel encounter alleged killer Bryan Kohberger in the kitchen? We're going to answer that for you. We're going to give you our opinions and thoughts on that. All right, let's get to this video. Let's see what Mr. Peter has to say.
What's up, everybody? And welcome back in to another episode of The Lawyer You Know. And we have a lot to talk about in this Bryan Kohberger update. It's been a little while. A lot of things have happened, and we are going to try to hit all of them in today's video. It may be a little bit longer. Go ahead and throw your questions in as we go. I'm going to try to be in the live chat as the video is playing. And if you have questions in the comment section, make sure you hit that like button as well. If you're
smash that like button, guys.
If you continue to be interested
in
this topic and in this information, because I've gotten sent so many things, and then there's been some new court filings, and we're going to try to hit them all. First, we have the body cam footage of a traffic stop with Bryan Kohberger prior to any of this stuff happening. That some people seem to think is relevant. I haven't watched it yet. We'll watch it, see if there's anything relevant to this crime on there. Number two, we have the body cam footage executed for the search warrant, which I have heard is basically a nothing burger, but we're going to watch it here together and see if there's anything on it. Third, we've got another set of body cam footage from Xander Knodel, one of the victims in the case. Again, a house party, noise complaint around the similar time periods to some of the other ones we've watched with some of the other victims, just to give us an idea of the people, how loud it was, what it was like there. And I think that is relevant, or at least could be relevant to the defense's case, that so many people are in and out of there. Maybe that's why his DNA is there. Who knows? But it is potentially relevant. So we're going to watch that video together. And then we're going to go through a few court filings. Some supplemental discovery requested by the defense. They want more stuff. Then a motion to...
That's what I talked about. Slowing this case down, slowing down the pace of this case to buy your defense team more time to get ready for trial. A lot of motion.
Compel. They are arguing that the state is either refusing to give them certain documents or certain evidence that they believe is relevant and should be produced during discovery. Either they're refusing to, or they just haven't gotten to them yet within the time period allotted. So the court needs to force the state to turn over this evidence, or the state needs to file objections so the defense can know why they're not producing it, so we can have a hearing if we need it. And then lastly, an order and notice of hearing that's different than the May 22nd hearing dealing with the non-dissemination order. Excuse me. So a lot to get through. And let's start it off with the body cam footage of let's start with the search warrant of his apartment. Okay. We all know about this search warrant. We all know and talked when it was executed. So let's look at what is actually shown in this body cam footage.
Yeah. Police department search warrant. Come to the door. Police department search warrant. Come to the door.
So something I do want to recognize that's been questioned is that people said that this was a no-knock warrant on his apartment. Obviously, you can hear them knocking. You can hear them representing that they're the police department. Obviously, this is early in the morning. And we know now, at this time, Bryan Kohberger was arrested in Pennsylvania. So I know there was some questions about this. It was a knock warrant. They did knock, but he was not home. And obviously, there was no one else home when they entered the apartment.
Good. One more. Police department, search warrant, come to the door. Open the door and do an announcement.
So I will say, we know this is early morning hours, so they're probably sleeping. That's why they're not coming to the door, probably not trying to hide something, number one. Number two, the police definitely knocked and announced themselves before blowing through this door and causing all this damage.
Peter got to that too. Right? She didn't blow through the door though.
Oh, actually, this isn't of the house. Sorry, this is of his apartment. So he's not there. He's at the house. So nobody's there. That's why they're knocking, can't get anything, and they got to get in.
Police department, show yourself. We have a search warrant for the building. Police department, show yourself.
So I will announce this. I've actually been offered to go join the Drunk Turkey show this evening. So I'm going to take them up on their offer and head over there tonight. I believe that is at, let me see. I think it's at 8:30 p.m. Tonight at 8:35 p.m. So I would tune in this evening over at Drunk Turkey. We're going to hang out on his show for a little while. I think Publicly Buzz is going to be over there. It's been a little while since we've done that together. But yeah, it's going to be a little weird because it's called Beard and Beards, and I've now cut my beard off. So I'll be excited to see what the guys say about that. And I believe Daniel might have had his baby. So congratulations with that, Daniel. We'll see you this evening at 8:30. I'm going to actually just get an email from him. I totally forgot about this spot, but I'm going to let him know. I'll go over and hang out with them for a little while this evening. So go over and check that out tonight, 8:35 p.m. on their Chit channel.
No. Flashlight.
Respond to him right now.
All right.
So that is basically the footage. I think it's blacked out for the most part, but let me see if they show anything else.
Talbot, bedroom door is locked. He wants to boot it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another interesting fact that I heard. Kohberger's actual bedroom door is locked. I don't know if he had a roommate. Some of you may know, and you can put it in the comments if he did. And I have heard a big deal be made about this, and it very well could be that he was keeping his door locked, making sure nobody could get in. I do have two thoughts on that, however. Thought number one, when I was in college and we had an apartment that had a shared living room and my wife, same thing, everybody would lock their own door because that was like your private space. And then you had the shared space, kitchen,
South
living
Africa
room,
in the
TV
house.
room, things like that. So
Look at this. South Africa. So we have a Japanese friend. We have a friend from South Africa. Wow, look at that. We are global. We're reaching global standards. That's really cool. Well, hello from America. It's so great to see you over here, Nat Cat. Thanks for tuning in. That's so cool. That's very, very cool. We have our Japanese friend, and we have our South African friend. That's great. MRG says, I look so much younger. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Nat Cat says you are so welcome. Thank you. Awesome. Candy's representing 19 likes and only in 61 watching. Please hit that like button for Bryan. I appreciate you, Candy. Let's do this for ya. Let's do this for you. Let's do this for you. Let's do that. Candy now has become a moderator. Thank you, Candy, and congratulations on your promotion. All right, let's keep playing.
It's not that unusual that it's locked because he's still in kind of a college atmosphere, number one. Number two, if he thought locking the door was going to keep cops out of it, that's not the smartest thing I've ever heard.
Terry, appreciate you.
You need anything, you're clicking.
Whoa, we got two.
He's got it.
We got two in the house. Kat Spearman says, here's another South African been watching you for a while. Well, this is great. Look at that. We're reaching across the globe. Scotland in the house too. I love it. Where's everybody from? Drop it in the chat. Let's hear it on this Friday afternoon. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Wait till Chosen hears about it. Thank you, Candy. I appreciate you. All right, let's keep playing here.
Thank you, guys.
Just a one lock door.
Yeah, and we didn't boot it because the keys actually worked. What?
Oh, sweet.
So they didn't have to boot it because the keys actually worked. They didn't have to blow through the
Mars.
front door because they had the keys. That's what happens when you live in an apartment building.
Yeah, lately I
the
feel
apartment complex and give
like
you a
we
key
are
to
on
any
Mars,
room,
huh?
so you don't have to go blowing in doors like they did at the house. They didn't have a spare key to the house. They probably knocked. I don't know if they did actually because there were safety issues
England
and
in
they
the
knew
house,
that they were in
right?
there. So I
Illinois.
don't think they actually did knock. I can't remember. We read through that together. I'm sure you all remember. But here they knocked. They announced themselves. It was loud. Nobody was there. They used the key. The door to Kohberger's bedroom's locked. They don't have to boot that door either. They use the key.
It's locked because there's only one on here. I'll talk later. Yeah.
I'm just gonna do a quick walkthrough, see what we can see. Are there lights on in there?
There are some. Yeah. And we can turn them all on. Very sparse. Fancy computer.
Really?
Yes.
That I wasn't expecting. That's now he's gonna be all over that.
Fancy.
So he was told he could do a triage here, and then once he's packaged, he can't do anything until we get a warrant in Idaho for it.
Correct.
So he can triage all that. We're still here.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing that's very complicated, I'm not sure if Peter's going to talk about this too, is you're dealing with multiple states. You know, you have, case building in, of course, Moscow, Idaho, and then you have Pullman because they collected evidence there and they collected evidence in Pennsylvania. So it really muddies the water and complicates this case, and everything has to be on point. And I think that's what you're seeing here with a lot of these legal documents, making sure that things are filed correctly. There's been a lot of questioning from the defense. They're filing motions, slowing things down. So it's a lot of, you know, and this is what I was saying in a court case or anything that's building to go to court or a case that's against someone. This is not checkers. Everybody, every lawyer involved in any of these cases or any case is playing chess. It's not checkers. There's always going to be some move, you know, they're thinking 5 steps ahead. Well, if they do this, then we're going to come back with this. If they do this, they're going to come back with this. Perfect representation of that. Go back and watch the O.J. Simpson trial. Go back and watch it. Watch any news updates or any case updates on that. The documentary that's out there that's on Netflix, it gives you that ultimate chess match. Did I mute it?
Okay, so there you go. Talking about the bedroom door, Bryan Kohberger's bedroom.
All right. I haven't watched the whole show. I'm sure they think that the fact that his bedroom door is locked means that he is guilty. And again, it could mean he was hiding something. It could mean that he had a roommate that he didn't want to get in there, right? It could mean a lot of things. But that's the search warrant of his apartment. That's the body cam footage. We don't know a whole lot. We do know the bedroom was locked. We do know they found computers. We do know they had keys, so they were able to enter. That's about all we know from that. So next, we're going to transition into a traffic stop of Bryan Kohberger. Again, before the crimes occurred, but let's see if there's anything relevant here that we can find out and that may come in at trial or may be relevant to this case. or these charges.
Hello,
Officer.
I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You were in the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
So
I was
forced
behind
to
you the
the
whole
left.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run.
So it seems like, and again, this was 10/14 of 22. So right before the crimes occurred, basically. So in timing, it's pretty relevant. But what's interesting about this is he does what a lot of us have done. Put in the comments if you've ever done this, where you go to kind of the intersection, you wait for the light to change, and then you make the left turn. And it seems like he got stuck there and then had to go when it's on red. And apparently he's going to get a ticket for that.
On the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
By the way, we do see it is him. He's in the white Elantra on the campus.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
They must really be searching if they're pulling people over for this.
Let me just get this for you out.
You what?
I'm just gonna get this out for you.
Okay.
He is being very cooperative with law enforcement, giving them everything they're asking for. No issues there.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck in the intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done?
Not-
Just
You're
back
not
up in
supposed
that
to.
So this is interesting to me because he wants to talk to her about the law. Is it illegal? Not argue with her. He's being very respectful and polite, but he is basically making a bit of a case saying, what was I supposed to do? I was stuck in the intersection, light change. What should I do if this ever happens to me again? Because where I'm from in Pennsylvania, what I did is what you're supposed to do.
Block an intersection like that in Washington.
And I
so
don't expect anything less. I mean, we know that he studied criminology, so I don't expect anything less to go into this line of questioning because he wants to know. And we know his background in criminology.
just by you blocking the intersection, that's technically a ticketable violation. And then then you're running a red light. So it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go. Because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting and then turns, and then you're blocking. So
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn. So I thought that.
So he's saying he thought he could go, but then in an abundance of caution to be a safe driver, somebody else was there in turn. He thought they weren't going to. So then he stopped. So now what is he supposed to do? He kind of makes a good point here, I guess, but whatever.
And you go through.
oh
Did you see that?
no. Mm-mm.
I feel like right before I made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go so you don't get stuck.
Doesn't sound like she's going to give him a ticket, actually. It doesn't sound like she's that mad about it. I don't know why she pulled him over for it.
Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up and not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation because you're either going to back up into somebody or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection.
Yeah.
There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one. Like there's like a certain.
Seems like he knows the rules, and he is not afraid to discuss it with law enforcement. He's pretty confident in this situation. He doesn't seem scared. He seems like he does want to make his point and he thinks he's right. A little indication. It doesn't seem like he's going to represent himself, but if he was going to, it seems like he's got.
Let's see. P Fox says BS stop, in my opinion. Well, the only thing that you can really think about this too, if you feel on the side that it's a BS stop, and it may very well be, I'm not a police officer, but if you do, that could be some proverbial bullets in the chamber for the defense. Like, look, my client was harassed. My client was pulled over. My client was this. So I think this is something that will become relevant in the case, and it could be used in the prosecution. They may look at it and say, look, he was hiding something. He was this. He was being confrontational. So, it plays for both sides. I think that's definitely a way of looking at it, and it's a great opinion. Maybe this is a BS stop, but it could be used. Again, the defense could use that. The prosecution could try to turn it in a certain way to favor them, and the defense can turn it in a certain way to favor them as well. So that's what's very interesting and very cool about building these cases and having all this video and evidence and documents, because we get to look through and sift through it and say, how is the chess match going to be played today in court? Or how is the chess match going to be played overall in this entire case? What will be the prosecution's chess match? What will be the defense's chess match? And that's what I really love about, I just went like this because I had some hair in my eyes. That's what I really love, probably cat fur, because I was playing with my cat earlier. That's what I really love about case law, and I love about trials, and that it's always turning and changing. A perfect example of this, if you've gone on Netflix and you've watched The Staircase, that's a fantastic documentary about case law, and it really gets inside that courtroom and shows you the shift of how a case can change day to day. Or another example I always use is the O.J. Simpson trial. Again, that was ever so changing every day with the different pieces of evidence that came in, or experts that came in, or things that were hidden, or things that came up in trial. This is what I think pulls us all into this. Yes, it's real life, but it's a story, it's storytelling. In what way and what direction is this mystery going to go in? So we'll keep playing through here. Man, that was a great point of bringing that up.
That's some
That was a
confidence
really great
there,
point.
especially compared to some other people we've seen represent themselves. I just think it's an interesting discussion point.
Yeah.
Not to say that he's going to.
Actually, kind of quick place or vehicle.
Mhm. Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Cop doesn't know the
I'm
verbiage.
just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can
not
find
like
it for you.
disagree with that,
Yeah.
but,
1 second.
And again, he's just interested. He's just interested in it, which is what a lot of people are saying about him. And,
The thing that I have to say too, and I'm not just, saying this, is that Bundy was a calm guy too when he had interactions with law enforcement, when he had interactions in his interviews. It was very clever, very charming. So again, we can say that as well too. It could go either way. Again, Bryan Kohberger is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And if he is innocent, then we need to find out the people that did this. We need to find out.
his studies and his personality. So that's interesting to me.
That looks good on a Hyundai. I don't see Pennsylvania registration like at all. Okay, let's see.
And in a fair point, in my state of Massachusetts, you would be pulled over for this. They would pull you over for this. Fair, just a fair point. You would be pulled over for this in Massachusetts. The same violation.
Expires
Especially in
November
the city.
22nd.
They would
or
get you.
2022. Okay.
And in
Cop
the
is
area I
kinda
live in,
like-
very rural
It's
area.
like it expires November 22nd. Oh, I mean 2022. I don't see where there it is. And we already know that about his registration because he changes it. Remember, there was all that talk and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that looks good. I'll hand that back to you. I'm just gonna go check your info. I'll try to find that RCW, the law for you, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right.
It does not seem like she's going to give him a ticket now. First, I thought she was.
First of Washington.
I think he's going to speed up the
Through
video
this.
here.
Oh, she looks through.
Excuse me.
Whatever she does. You ever wondered what cops do when they go back to their car? Sometimes they're looking up statutes to tell you what you did wrong. Maybe print him a ticket if she's going to give him one. All right. There's the white Elantra.
Okay, so I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania the where you go to find laws, but in Washington, it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's basically, it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection to accommodate the vehicle he is operating without obstructing the passage of other vehicles despite any traffic control signals.
Makes sense, right? Can't block the intersection,
Right.
can't run a red light.
Right.
We all do it. We've all done it, but makes sense that it wouldn't be something that you should do or that would be okay to do. And technically you can get a ticket for it. Now, I will say the running the red light is probably the bigger problem, but if you do it without having any issues, as it's like going from yellow to red, it's kind of like Bush League to get pulled over for it, but technically speaking, it's appropriate.
Signal indications to proceed. So you had a green light, so you're thinking you can go, but you're blocking the intersection.
And if you
so
cause an accident or somebody to get hurt by doing it, you should get hammered for it, right? I mean, that's the point, is you should get hammered for it because that's absolutely negligent. So again, seems like he navigated it without any issues, but
that's if you're ever curious in any laws in Washington, just Revised Code of Washington. So I'm not writing a ticket or anything like that today. I understand you're from Pennsylvania, but in the future, don't proceed through the intersection. You can't get stopped for that alone unless you can clearly just clear it right away.
Okay.
So
So then basically, I understand.
you're just supposed to wait behind the white line. Drivers do it all the time.
It
But
never even occurred to me that that was actually something wrong. But
Yeah.
well, except for the fact that I was blocking the
Mhm.
crosswalk, which is why
Yeah.
I went through.
and states vary a lot from laws. Like Pennsylvania might not even have that law, but in Washington we do.
I'm actually just from a very rural area,
hmm
so we just don't have crosswalks.
Oh.
Unless I visit an area where there are
Gotcha.
crosswalks, and then it's not very frequent.
Yeah.
I do apologize if I was asking you too many questions about the law. I wasn't trying to
No, not at
seems like polite, and he seems a little quirky, but seems polite. I'm not sure. I believe him that there's no crosswalks anywhere, maybe in his rural area, but I thought he said Pennsylvania at first. I was like, that would be weird.
all. Like I understand you're not from here, so if you don't, a lot of people don't know a bunch of laws. Like I only know it because this is what I do. But
And even
Yeah.
she didn't know
If
it.
you're ever
Like, I only know it because this is what I do. It's like, but even you didn't know it. So
on any more laws, just RCW, and they can be hard to read because it's in like legal language. But hope that helps.
definitely,
Yeah, have a good day.
definitely you too.
Thanks.
So no ticket, and he probably would be able to read it because he takes criminology and studies that.
No, just listen, I just want to throw this out there too. Let's just say with all of the mass shooters lately, what happens when they do all of these interviews and they talk to people? I'm just interjecting something here because I know a lot of people that are involved in this case, and I'm not saying if he's guilty or innocent, but let me just say for the people that think he's dead innocent right now, let me just throw something out there. What do people say when they do interviews after these mass shooters go out and shoot a bunch of people? What's one of the most things that they bring up first? Oh, it was a really nice person. They were really quiet. We never heard anything of them. They just seemed normal. They were out cutting their lawn just the other day. I waved to them in the driveway, driving up the street. He or she has always been very neighborly, So that's just something to think about as well. And again, I'm not saying that he's guilty or innocent. I think I lean a certain way in this case based on the evidence, but we're going to find out in court when it goes to trial if he is guilty or innocent. But that's, things that are thrown out there too, that when they always interview the neighbor. I remember the case out in Cleveland. I can't remember the guy that did it, but held that a couple of young girls, and the girl's name was Amanda Berry. And the guy, Charles Ramsey, that actually ends up finding Amanda Berry trying to get out of the house. He helps her, became a little bit of a viral star for a little while for his interview. I think it was on Fox or CNN. And, even him talking to the reporter, it was, oh, I saw this guy every day and he's out barbecuing and cutting his lawn, and he would say hi, and he would invite me over to have barbecue. And it just seemed so normal. It just a normal guy that would get up and go to work every day. So those are just some things to think about too. I'm not saying guilty or innocent, but I just want to interject that out there and let you think and sit on that as well too.
Type of stuff. All right. On to the next video I was sent, which was Xana Kernodle handling a noise complaint, much like her roommates have in the past that we have watched. So let's take a watch and listen to this one.
One thing that I do want to point out too is that, and he's going to, and Peter's going to talk about this as well in this video, because I remember this, is that when the police officers have the interaction with Xana, they say, this is the first complaint that we've had that we've come out here. Yes. This is the first noise complaint that we've come out here. Now, like Peter may say in this could be a positive for the prosecution that, you know, this was really the only time that any of this thing happened. You know, there wasn't all these people, like they said, coming in and out of here, but there are some other body cam footage that show that there were a lot of people over there. So again, it's chess. It's going to be see how all this evidence comes out, and to see what the lawyers do when they put it all in front of them and sort through it and say, this is the timeline, or, you know, this is the timeline of the events that happened in this case, or you're going to have the defense and say, no, it's not true because my client was here and my client was here and he couldn't have been there. You know, but these people were, or whatever. And again, this is what I really love about case law. I really enjoy about it. All right, let's keep playing through this. All right, I'm going to just bring down the sound so I don't get nailed for a violation. We'll just wait here.
It doesn't seem like anything crazy right here, but the music is loud. They can't even hear the cops yelling at them. There's some people on the back porch.
All right, I'm going to just pause that.
Hey guys.
All right, here we go.
Second time. I need somebody to come to the door.
Yeah, it's the second time.
Music stays off. Party's over.
It looks like it's 12:36 in the morning on September 2nd.
Here?
Yes.
Hey, hello, miss.
Hello.
What's your name?
Xana.
Xana, do you live here?
Yes.
Hey, did Megan talk to you earlier?
No.
Okay, does Megan live here?
Megan. I do not have a Megan that lives
Megan
here.
Mogan?
Maddie Mogan, yes.
Madison Mogan, yeah.
Madison Mogan? Okay, she does live here?
Sorry, she is at the club. She's 21. I'm just going to bed. I have a couple friends over, but
Okay.
this is my ID.
Have you talked to Maddie tonight?
Yes, I have.
Well-
She's at the corner club.
Okay. Did she tell you anything about anything that happened earlier or anything like that?
Honestly, not really. I've just been here the past hour.
Okay.
Just trying to go to bed.
Can I grab your ID for me? If you
Yeah,
will run
I'm
her.
not 21.
Okay.
My roommates are 21. I just came
Well,
to go to bed.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff. Okay.
She's actually like, I'm not 21. I'm not sure if she's impaired or whatever, if she's been drinking.
Well, she's probably been drinking.
But they're like, we're not here for the alcohol, is what the guy says. So maybe put her at ease a little bit. But it is interesting, you know, they're at the club, they're having a party here. It just kind of gives you an idea of the atmosphere, which is how I think it can become relevant, especially to the defense's case in chief, as to what the atmosphere was like at this house, potentially people coming and going all hours of the night. Now it's not 4 a.m. It's 12:38. If it was 4 a.m., I think that would make it even more relevant.
He's right. He's very, very right.
Everybody's awake. There's people over. There's people coming in and out. People out on the porch. She's inside. Other people are at the club. But 4 a.m. is a little different than 12:38, even in a college town.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
I'm sorry
Okay.
about that.
So this time it was the blonde gal and the guy on the back porch playing music. Okay. So
I sincerely apologize about
Okay.
that. I'm just going to bed.
Okay.
So.
So just so you understand, you could be getting a misdemeanor citation for this, which means you have to go in front of a judge and explain why you couldn't keep the people in your house quiet. Okay. We've already talked to Maddie once and told her the same thing. Okay. The only reason she's not getting a ticket is because she's not standing here in front of me. But I'm telling you right now, if we have to come back, you're getting a ticket.
Okay, so
You
I'm
will have to
not
go
right
see a
now.
judge.
I'm fine right now.
You're not getting a ticket right
I'm
now.
just trying to go to bed right
Okay.
now. I mean, I understand you guys. You're coming here. I'm just going.
Okay. Well, understand that you're responsible for the residents.
Okay.
So whoever else is here, if they have a safe way to get home, you need to kick them out or
Okay.
tell them to come inside and be quiet.
Okay.
Because the houses that are on this hill all the way around here, we
Yeah,
can hear
thank
you
you.
from clear down the road when we were coming.
Ariel
up here, you could hear the
Castro,
music.
thank you.
So that's interesting. Houses all up around the hill and clear down the road. You could hear the music. So the music could be really loud, or the houses could be really close together. And we've also heard that people around may have heard things the night of the murder. So that's interesting. Will that come into play?
Music.
Okay.
And that's
I'm so sorry.
where we're past the point of having polite conversations, okay?
Yeah, I'm
Because
so
neighbors are
sorry.
being
Thank you,
kept
Johnny.
busy.
Appreciate
Okay.
that.
Sorry. It's just like,
Is the blonde gal and the guy up there, are they roommates too?
I'm sorry, what?
The blonde gal and the guy that's upstairs, are they roommates too?
None of my roommates are home. I'm
Oh, okay.
the only one home. These are all my friends.
Okay.
I would say
So
drunk.
do you understand
than high.
100%
I understand.
what's going
I'm
to
just
happen?
I
gonna
would
tell
say drunk
everyone
more than
if-
high.
Sorry.
You're fine.
It's about when I was
Figure it out.
19, 20 years old. That's what I sounded like when I was drinking.
And I'm not saying that you got to tell everybody they have to leave, but I'm telling you, any outside music, any loud yelling needs to be done
Okay.
because we're not. Next time you're getting a ticket.
Okay.
Okay. And if you get a misdemeanor citation, the university is not going to take kindly to it.
Yeah.
So not only do you have to go see a
completely
judge-
understand that I've never had to deal with this
Yep.
ever.
And we don't want to start now. I don't ever remember having come here. So I understand you guys are having to get together.
So maybe this will go as evidence the other way. This was the only, noise complaint issue, party
Yep,
type
this is
stuff
a
that
great
they
point.
had.
This is what I talked about earlier about kind of playing both sides of all these body cam footage. And I think this is a great way of explaining this. We're hearing it firsthand from a lawyer. That's what I like to do here. We don't put, we try to get an expert's opinion. Again, Peter, I've reached out to you, man. The extension's there. If you'd love to come over, give me like 20 minutes, come over and hang out with us. I'm sure my audience would appreciate that too. And I hope you don't have a problem, using your expert opinion video in my presentation today. I really respect your channel. I think it's great. And I know my audience does too. A lot of my audience is subscribed. Probably everybody here watching today is subscribed to your channel. And if you haven't, go over, check them out. I've sent him a few emails, Danielle. I actually have. But he's a busy guy. I get it. I respect it. But if we ever cross paths, I'd love to have him over here.
Maybe because he doesn't remember ever coming out to this house before, and the university wouldn't take kindly to getting these kinds of problems. So maybe this was the one and only. Who knows? That's why this stuff to me is not really. None of these videos that we've watched today are very helpful in breaking this stuff down. But a lot of you sent them. A lot of you had questions on them, so I want to watch them and see if there was anything there. So we'll finish this one out.
But people have a way of
Yes.
taking the invitation and using it as an excuse to get out of control and be
Taking
loud.
Advantage. Yes,
Exactly.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I just hope for your sake that your friends don't put you in a position where you get the citation and you have to go to court to defend yourself from your friend's behavior. Make sense?
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You want to get a good phone number for her?
And just remember, the Dean of Students office probably will be contacting you about this as well, about student code of conduct issues.
Yes, I have.
It's interesting. I wonder if they have
Yeah.
any student code of conduct issues. That's interesting. If the dean does reach out, anytime
Nothing
something
that
like
we've
this
heard in the
happens.
media. I'm sure they would have done
Any
that
questions?
also.
No questions.
Okay. Make sure your friends don't put you in a bad position. Tell them
Yeah,
it's time to be
I'll
done.
go-
Okay.
There's
No, listen,
Yeah.
I know that I just said it. Peter's a very busy guy, but the invitation is always there if he's watching any of my videos. I respect him as a lawyer, respect his opinion. Yeah, if he ever had any time, 20 minutes, half an hour is all I'd ever ask of his time to come hang out on the channel. I know I would love it. I know you would all love it. But yeah, I get it. People are busy. People are busy.
It was the two that were around the back. We had to holler at them to turn the music down. So, alrighty.
All right. So now that's done.
All right. So
And
now,
so
this
now-
part of the video, he's going to get into the documents, the new document dump that was released, and kind of break all that down and give us his opinions on that as well. Well, his expertise on those documents.
We will transition into the court documents that we're going to break down that people had questions on. And that
I would
will
hope
include
so.
more requests for documents, motions to compel, and what's going on with the
I've sent
non-dissemination order.
him
So let's get into that.
Multiple emails.
Okay, so
Richard?
the first legal document we're going to bring up here to look at together is the third.
Yeah. Let's do this. 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 Hang on 1 second, and then we'll get back to the video. Here, let's do this. Let's do this. All right. Let's see if I can get this to Mr. Tragos. I hope this email finds you well. My name is Bryan, and I host the Opinionated Idiot YouTube channel, which covers recent media stories and true crime events. Came across your YouTube channel where you discuss court proceedings surrounding the State versus Bryan Kohberger case. I'd love to have your legal perspective on my show. As a non-legal expert, I believe your insights would add tremendous value to our conversation, and I would be honored to have you share your legal opinions with my audience. I understand that you have a busy practice and a YouTube channel, but I only require 30 minutes to an hour of your time to clarify some legal language and procedures in this case. To save time, I've prepared some questions from myself and my audience that you can provide your insights on and agree if you come on as a guest. If you're interested in joining me as a guest, please let me know and we can finalize the details. I am confident that our conversation will be both enjoyable and informative for my viewers. And please know that I treat all guests and topic with respect. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to hearing back from you. Best regards, Bryan, the Opinionated Idiot YouTube channel. So just wanted to get that out there. That's my formal invitation. If you haven't gotten my emails, Peter, but here we go.
Supplemental request for discovery.
Thank you so much, Candy. Appreciate it.
And again, this is just what the defense is asking the state to provide. Standard lab discovery, biological testing case file. Please provide a copy of the case file, including all records made by.
I think a lot of it is the channel name. I think that probably throws some people off. I've thought about changing the channel name. I know that probably wouldn't sit well with the audience, but I've thrown around some ideas. I have an old name that I've used in the past when I was just a podcast channel, and I've thought about going back to that name, but it's like rebranding the whole channel. And I do expect at some point, as the channel grows and probably gets bigger, maybe around 10,000 subscribers. And I've even thought about changing around 5,000, but I'm not too sure what I'm going to do yet. I thought something like, I don't want to be Opie Media because I don't want to be known as Opie, but something media. I used to do an old name called Let's Talk Live Podcast or Let's Talk Live. I used that for a while. So I thought about maybe going back to that. I'm not too sure. But right now, this is has been the name, but I think at some point it will probably change, I guess, into a more what they quote unquote say professional name. We'll think of something. All right, let's keep playing through.
Each
the least of my worries at this point.
lab in connection with biological testing in this case, including biological screening, serological testing, presumptive testing, microscopy, and DNA testing, including statistical calculations. Please provide.
Yeah, but let's see. Brenda says, I do love the name, but it may hinder your progress. Yeah, but you know what? There's stranger shit that's happened. It doesn't encompass my body of work, and it's a funny name. I think it's an attractive name. I've heard a lot of people just come to the channel because they've seen the name. So it has worked in its benefits in that favor as well. But maybe as I get a little bit more, I guess, professional and want to push this channel a little bit more, it's a consideration of changing the name, maybe back to where I was. But, Brandy's saying as well, she's saying, I don't know but if I were you, I'd keep it. It stands out more than other suggestions. You just mentioned. It's easier to find. You like this. So, I don't know. Listen, I wake up every day and just put my 2 feet on the ground and I say, I wonder what's going to happen today. and I just let life dictate itself. Yeah, Let's Talk Live. Yeah, I had that name for a while. But we just I roll with it. I roll with it. If it's a funny name. I think it's funny, and it's I think everybody likes the name, so it is funny. But let's do this. Let's see. Let's do a celebration here. Simya64 has been a member for 1 month, so we need to celebrate that. Unfortunately, I can't pull that up, but you all can probably see that in the chat.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
So I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. I think the name might take away from your credibility and honestly. Yeah, but you know what? If you come over and watch the body of work, you never judge a book by its cover. Never judge a book by its cover. All right, let's keep playing through.
Photographic quality copies of all photographs in the original case file. Chain of custody and current disposition of the evidence. Profiles uploaded to a DNA database in the event that the case involves the upload of a DNA profile.
I don't know, like I should have stopped. The reason the name was chosen was I was going to go into a little bit of more of the political spectrum and do political commentary, but I just kind of slid into true crime as I was starting to, kind of revamp and revitalize and redo my channel. And that's kind of, the name that stuck, and we went into it stuck with me, and a lot of people like it. So it's fun. It's a funny name. It's supposed to be fun,
Profile to either local, state, or national databases. Please provide all documentation maintained by the testing laboratory. Documentation maintained by combined DNA index system, personnel within the laboratory, including profiles that have been identified as known males, not the defendant. So could this be anybody else? Is it connected to anybody else? How did you search for it? What did you search for? What did you find? My guess is the defense has some DNA experts of their own.
And again, these are motions and documents, like I talked, that is coming from, I don't want to be sleuth. I don't want to be sleuthy, anything with sleuthing. I want to be unique, and I want to stand out. I don't want to have crime in my name. I don't want to have true. I don't want to have any of that. None of that. I want to make it a brand. I want to make it a long-standing, lasting brand. I love the name right now, but I don't know. It's something that I've kicked around. I've kicked it around with some friends talking about it. I just don't think we're quite there yet. I want to get a little further in my YouTube journey and see where things go. But back to the documents here, this is motions that's going on from the defense that's going to question every single piece of evidence that's coming up in this case. And again, I talked about this. I think this is a move by Ann Taylor to slow down this case, to get it to a pace where they can bring in all this evidence, let their experts look at it now, and prepare for trial. So you're going to see a lot of this. I'm going to tell you, this is going to be a long case. This is not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think trial, if it goes to trial, will be sometime next year, probably around the summer. So strap in. It's going to be a long time. And that's just my opinion. It's my opinion. Or, I've heard some other angles too. They whip this right up through. They get it done in the case to save the school a lot of money, because if this is not settled, it's gonna hurt students from going there. It's gonna hurt money flowing into the school. It's a lot of opinions of what's going on here. But again, I think it's gonna be a little bit of a longer ride than we're expecting. So hang tight. It's gonna be a little while. Let me go up here and recognize this membership here. We have a new member, Harlot. Thank you so much for your membership. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. Let's see this. Let's see. And I just had a super sticker as well. Danielle with a $2 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution.
Free cash, homie.
Thank you. Let's see. Danielle is asking about. Let's see. She asked about the bracelets that I made. I do have bracelets. So Daniel's saying, Brian, when are you going to be selling the armbands? I want one. Okay. So I did make these armbands, and I'm not going to be able to show it on camera because I don't have my product demonstration on. But if I pull it back here, what it basically says on it is the Opinionated Idiot, and it says YTC for YouTube channel. And then on the other side in big bold letters, it says Official Idiot. The problem is this. It's not the cost of the armband, or the bracelet, it's the shipping. To ship these out, just normal postage inside the US, it's crazy. I've shipped out a few of them. The lowest that I can get it down is like $6 to $8. I'm not looking to make any profit. That's what I don't want to do with these. If I could hand them out and I have 100 of them, it would just cost me almost like $600 to send all these out. So I think the only way that I could do this is, I was thinking like between probably $10. I know it's a little bit, a lot of money. It's the shipping that's eating everything. I would say if you're interested in getting one, let's just do this. It's $10 to get one. I know that might seem like a lot of money. I was thinking along the line, I wanted to set up a small e-commerce site. So you could just go on there, put in your information. It goes right into my PayPal. I get your address and I can mail it straight out. The only way that I can think to do this now, if you're interested in a bracelet, send me an email, put in the title bracelet, give me your name and address, and I'll send you out a PayPal link. You can PayPal me and I'll get it out into the mail for you. I'm sorry, the cost is a little high. Maybe I can get the cost down. And I definitely want to work on just like a small e-commerce where I can just send you a link, you put in your order information, and boom, we can do that. So if anybody's interested in it, send me an email at theopinionatedidiot at gmail.com. Put in the subject line bracelet. I need all your particulars, and then I'll just send you out a pay link. I can only do this for U.S. citizens. I'm sorry. At some point when the channel gets big enough, I'll be able to ship international. I was going to send one, listen to this, to someone in Canada, a small package. It would almost cost me $26 to send it. And they said that it might not even get there. So I didn't want to risk it. So I apologize to my Canadian customers, my Canadian fans. But let's do this US now, and we'll see what happens. But if you're definitely interested in one, you can send me, and maybe we can get the cost down a little bit on these. I know Candy was talking about shipping. Maybe her and I can have a conversation. She can help me out. I'm still looking into just doing a small like e-com thing where you just put your name. I can have a picture of the bracelet up there. You send out the link, or I can post it here in the chat. I send the link out. It connects to my PayPal, goes right in, and I get all your address particulars, and then I can just mail them myself. I don't want to go through like Spring or anything like that because they charge you an exorbitant amounts of fucking fees, and it's not fair to the client, and it's not fair. I'd rather just do this direct shipping. I've had a lot of issues with Spring as far as my t-shirt merchandise, my mugs. They're very slow at making. I had a sample mug that I put an order in a month and a half ago, and I just got it now. So Spring has been a disaster. That's why I haven't really been pushing any of the merchandise. I got to think of something. I'd love to just do coffee mugs. I want to do coffee mugs and bracelets. I don't really want to do the t-shirt game or anything like that. I think a coffee mug is cool. You can either use it for, sip your coffee or put it on your desk, throw some pencils in it, whatever you want to do with it. Give it to a loved one, a friend, whatever. I've thought about that. I might just take down t-shirts and just do mugs. Just one simple thing, just mugs, because I'm not a design guru. I'm not sure on the logo that I want. I'm not sure if the name's going to stay this. So that's why I haven't really done a lot of merch. But mugs we can do, stuff like that. I lost my train of thought. But if you're interested, again, send me over bracelet in the headline of the email. Give me your particulars. I'll send you off a PayPal link, get you paid up. I'll confirm shipping and all that stuff. When it's shipped, I'll send you a tracking number so you know everything is honorable. stuff like that. So Johnny Archer just sent a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Shipping for someone else. YouTube, stop taking half. Yes, YouTube kills YouTubers. YouTube takes so much money from YouTubers. Listen, it gives us a platform to come on and perform, provide this content, but I don't agree with the way they pay us. It's pretty terrible, actually. So that's why we rely on memberships and clicks and views. And that's why, I hear all these comments about people complaining. You say like, and you say subscribe too much, and you say memberships. And I'm like, well, you got to boost your own channel. YouTube's not going to do it for us. YouTube is not going to push small channels. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for us small creators that are trying to build this platform. I'll give you an example. And I'm not even going to give a name, but let's just say this. A well-known celebrity, all right, and this is what's very frustrating. Let's say a well-known celebrity, they want to start a podcast, okay? And they've been in a few movies, or they were a performer or whatever. Now I'm going to start a podcast. Well, they can get on the YouTube platform. Episode 1, here's your celebrity, 3 million views, because YouTube is pushing that. But it's funny, they'll talk about the same similar content that the smaller channels are doing, but because they are who they are, they get pushed more in the algorithm than someone like us. And I'll be honest with you, I think some of the smaller channels actually have better content. So, let's see. But bracelet in a 4x4 bubble envelope should be just under $4. It's not. It's like $6 to $8 to ship. You got to think. Got to buy the envelope. You got to put the shipping into it. It did cost me a little bit of money for the bracelet. I shipped the other day. I shipped 2 of them across the country. It was $8 in a small, non-padded envelope. In literally one of those paper thin envelopes. It was $8 to send it out. And one, I think I sent one just north of me, was like almost $6 to $7. So it's expensive. It's shipping costs have definitely gone up. And that was with my discount, because I have a post office box that I'm paying for. They gave me like a little bit of a discount. But anyway, we're going to debate shipping and all that crap now. But Johnny, thank you so much for this super chat. I appreciate you. Thanks for supporting the
Going to go through all the evidence the state has to see how reliable it really is.
Blech.
The data files provide copies of all computer data files created in the course of performing the DNA testing and analyzing the data in this case. Again, the state could object to some of this stuff, but I think most of it they are going to have to turn over. What did they get as far as DNA? How did they test it? Where did they put it in there? Who else?
I don't ask for money. I never say send me money. That's one thing that you will never be able to call me out on my platform. I don't say give me a super chat. I don't say any of that. If you feel honorable that you want to give money and support, I appreciate it, but I would never call anybody out. I will say join and subscribe and like, and if you want to support me through a membership, absolutely. Or if you want to send a super chat or whatever, that's all on you folks. We appreciate it. We appreciate it as content creators. Believe me, we really do.
Who else could it be matched to? What did you do to eliminate those other people if they did exist? What is the statistical probability that it was somebody other than Bryan Kohberger? Again, statistical calculations. Provide a copy of all that. List any software programs used. Reference the population.
Taiwan
and the allele free.
International today, everybody. We're international. We have Japan. We had South Africa, or we have South Africa. Now we have Taiwan. Taiwan in the house today, watching stuff on the Bryan Kohberger case. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Please make sure to smash that like button.
Smash, smash, smash.
Frequencies used for the analysis. All handwritten or electronic notes pertaining to analysis. Now, they might try to keep that as work product. Preparation for litigation. Some kind of protected,
worldwide
way that they do or investigatory tactics. National security. They could try to block some of this stuff because of those reasons. But in order to do that, you have to actually object, not just fail to answer. Electronic data files, documents, all input and operator selected parameters. So it's like, did you only click people that are
I
like
want to live
Bryan Kohberger?
Tsunami's life.
Could this be somebody of a different race or a different gender? I don't know. Not a DNA expert, but what did they click? It's kind of like in the old days when they used to give a photo pack and it would be one Hispanic person and 5 white people and the defendant's Hispanic. Not fair.
Right.
Communications. Please provide a and just that's how defense attorneys flesh that out. And that's how it became law and a way to do fair photo packs or lineups, is because lawyers had to find out about this stuff by looking through case files and then fighting about it and objecting to it and having judges say, no, that's not right. So that's why we do this, to make sure it is done the right way. And trust me, regardless of what you feel about Bryan Kohberger, regardless of how much you think he did it, and he may have, and he may get convicted, and he may get the death penalty or go to prison for the rest of his life, justifiably so if he gets convicted. But we want these rules and protections and standards and procedures in place to protect people that have been accused of crimes. One day it could happen to someone we know and we love, or ourselves. Copy of all communications between lab personnel and other parties with regard to biological testing in this case, including memos, emails, texts, recordings, phone calls. And again, some of that stuff
UK
I
in the
expect to be
house.
objected to. Standard operating protocols and interpretation guidelines. So this is important, especially when we talk about, like in the Murdoch case, how Harpootlian used to be a prosecutor and he knew this stuff backwards and forwards. They're probably going to have former prosecutors assist in this case, whether they're private or public defenders. And then also, most people become DNA experts or investigative experts like this after having a job in law enforcement. So they know some of the operating procedures, but maybe they want to know what they are now or what they are for this office if they worked in a different jurisdiction.
Sweden.
Peak detection thresholds. Just all sorts of stuff that they're looking for here. What do they include? What do they exclude? Policies, software programs.
Maybe we'll get to 4,300 by the end of the
Validation
stream.
summaries. Please provide copies of validation summaries, internal validation studies undertaken
Look at
to
this.
establish the interpretation guidelines relied on in this case. Laboratory personnel. Please provide background information for each person involved. These are some of the people that, become witnesses and we hear about them on the stand. Well, this is how they get their initial information. Their resumes, performance evals, summary of proficiency test results, unexpected results, and corrective actions for each lab
Good stuff.
person. Did they get bad results? Did they have to correct anything? Seems kind of specific. And again, they want to know if this has happened and they've gotten results that were bad or had to be corrected 6 months before and 6 months after this testing. Genetic, genealogy, testing, and search. All reports generated by any lab that conducted SNP testing on any sample in this case, including from samples where unknown males, not the defendant, were identified. Copies of all communications between laboratory personnel and any other person or organization with regard to this instant case, including letters, memos, emails, internet posts, press releases, and records of other communications. All documentation associated with any database search, including but not limited to.
Oh, really quick. The Boston marathon bombing stream that I did and the Natalie Holloway stream that I did, some of the video footage that I used in that, I got a copyright strike. Well, it wasn't like a strike. I had to dispute it. And the Dutch company in the Natalie Holloway case disputed it and said that they want to they're not going to allow me to use their content. So that video right now is blocked. I believe you can't watch it here in the US. It's so ridiculous. That content came out over like 15 years ago. Millions of people have seen that. I'm obviously commentating over it and giving my opinion. I'm creating a reaction to it, and they're being dicks, and they're not allowing me to use that. And that's the thing about using video. People are, I understand it's their video, it's their media. They own the rights to it. but we're trying to bring history and show what happened in that case, in these cases, and timeline it for people, because that's a huge part of that case, to that Natalie Holloway case, that presumptive confession by Jeroen van der Sloot with that Dutch journalist. But millions of people have seen that video already, and that's why I always think it's funny too, where you'll have a something from 2020, and that's another dispute I'm in right now, that was played 5 years ago on air, and I play a 2-minute clip about it, and they're disputing. They won't allow me to use it, and I'm clearly just commentating over it. Now, I understand they own the rights to that clip, but it's not like millions of people have already seen or watched this already. It's a very strange thing with these news organizations, but whatever. It's been demonetized. I'm in a dispute to try to get to it, and if I don't, then at least the video will be up. I'll probably just demonetize the video so it will at least be out there so people can still watch the get a timeline on those cases. But it's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying.
They mention them all. All documents related to any genetic genealogy search, included but not limited to.
It's not going to matter though, because it goes through YouTube, and then that company would have to release it through YouTube. So it's just really it's not even worth it. I'll probably just keep the demonetization off it and just allow people to basically watch the videos for free. It's fine. But we're trying to timeline things and bring history and let awareness to these cases. And to use a 2-minute clip in my presentation, they really just want all the money from it. So, and it's fine. I mean, they own that. They own the rights to it. But I am no way in any form saying that I own these videos, or I'm just clearly just showing a reaction, giving my commentary over it, and educating my audience when I do this. So,
the creation of a user profile, account information.
If anything, you would help. It would bring more people to your content.
Automated search results, uploading of data, etc. All documents related to any of that. And the name and address of all persons found to have sufficient sharing centimorgans with the subject profile to be identified as a match in the report created in this case.
No, they have lawyers.
Anybody else that's
they have all that stuff on
could
file.
Possibly be connected to.
It goes to a lawyer or
so they are
representative
focused
of
on
the
the
media
DNA
source.
testing, the genealogy reports, how it got connected to his dad.
Yeah, I mean, I can edit out the section, but you would just have a gap in the storytelling. So you would go from, you wouldn't be able to tell that video. And there was a lot of compelling things that we were talking about during that video. So why would I want to cut it out of my video? I want people to see what the chat was saying, what we were talking about during that, because it does tell a piece of the compelling story in my stream. But I get it. They own the rights to that. It's their right to say no. You can't fight them on it. You can't fight them.
How they got the DNA, who did the DNA testing, have they had any problems in the past? Have they had to fix anything they've done wrong in the past? Have they gotten in trouble in the past? We need their resume. Are they even qualified to do this stuff? And this is what a lot of the cross-examination is based off of. And, if you watch a trial and you wonder, how did they know this about this DNA test expert? How did they know they were reprimanded? How did they know they had bad results in the past? Something similar or not similar to the gathering and testing of DNA in this case. This is how. It is a long, drawn-out process with lots of documents, depositions, statements, things like that, memos that you have to read through. Again, the blood spatter expert memo that Murdoch's defense attorneys found. It came in a document dump like this as part of discovery. That's why you have to ask for the right things, because just saying, give me all the evidence, give me all the documents, give me even all the Brady material that could be exculpatory doesn't cover everything specific enough. You want to make sure you get everything that could possibly help or even hurt your client to know that it is there. Because just because it's bad for you doesn't mean you don't want it in discovery, because the other side has it and they know about it. You want to be ready. All right.
I don't think people sometimes, and I just want to go to this. Johnny Archer says, yeah, to piggyback off what Brian said, it's a lot easier for people who have enough dough for editors, et cetera, whatever. It is. And we're, and just going back to, a huge maybe influencer or a star, they literally can just hire a bunch of people that create a show environment for them. They have editors, they have people that set up their lighting, they have people that probably write their podcasts, they have people that call in their guests. All they need to do is sit down, put a microphone and talk for an hour or 2 hours or whatever, interview their guests, and those channels get pushed like a mofo. But the smaller channels here that are building have a disadvantage because no one fucking knows who I am. No one cares who I am. I mean, you obviously all do, but I don't have that star power of X, you know. It's a little bit of a disadvantage because YouTube back in the day in the roots was YouTube. YouTube, you as a creator, you as a non-celebrity to be creative enough to create a platform, not being like the movie industry or the music industry. And granted, I love a lot of those channels too. And maybe I'm being a little bit selfish right now because, you know, we want that push. We want to get big. We want to be able to get our stuff out there. But we are at a little bit of a disadvantage, and it's a little frustrating sometimes. If I look up on the new podcast channel that YouTube is doing, everything on there is a celebrity. Jake Paul, you know, Tony Hawk, but whatever. And I'm not clowning those people. I'm not downing them. I like Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's a great guy. He skated for many years when I was a kid. I'm just giving examples. Kim Kardashian, if she was a podcaster, she would be on there because it brings in those major and those huge clips and views. But you know, YouTube has changed so much over the last couple of years that it, you know, even just major news content. If you search something about Idaho, what are the first searches that are going to come up? CNN, Fox News, News Nation. So you're getting major news networks. And this was the frustration, the spin about this. When years ago, if this case happened 10 years ago and you went and did your search, you would get creators talking about this, not major networks and news networks that get pushed. So it's a little frustrating. Sorry, that's my YouTube rant. That's my YouTube rant. But I think some of you all can understand what I'm saying. But anyway,
so
let's get
after
back to this.
Or when was this filed? Let's see. Yeah, so that
like Tragos should have 1 million subscribers. The guy's a fucking lawyer. You know, he's only got 250,000. I mean, only, it's still a lot. This guy should have 1 million subscribers. He's credible. He's a fucking lawyer, you know, like, you know, this guy should have 1 million subscribers. But I guarantee that if a bigger celebrity was talking about this, their channel would get pushed more than Tragos. And he's a credible lawyer.
Additional supplement was filed on May 3rd. So this motion to compel discovery was obviously not on that information because you don't have to provide it in one day. But there is a motion to compel discovery that the defense filed on May 4th, the day after that supplemental discovery request. And it is based on the defendant's first supplemental discovery and second supplemental discovery. So the first one would just be discovery. The second would be...
And that's why I say, you know, the smaller channels, you need to advocate on YouTube and call this stuff out on your streams. You need to let them know that, you know, help us out. Help us get our channels out. Help us get out to the right people. Help us shift that algorithm to get it into the right people. I just find it very strange. You know, you have, you know, maybe some people that watch Drunk Turkey and Lana, and they just finding me now, which we all doing the similar content. So it's just so weird how that algorithm works, or like hidden true crime or something like that. It's just very strange how this whole algorithm works. And it's like, we're all doing the same similar content. Why not just lump us all into one category? You know, let's boost these channels and get them out. You know, I think we're doing the most raw, like, listen, we're not experts. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not a law enforcement. I'm not anything, but we have passion about what we do here. We want to bring light to these cases. We want to bring justice to these victims. We want to get the people that are involved that may have committed these crimes put away. You know, like, give us a chance. I think this is some of the most compelling raw stuff out there, when someone can turn on their camera live and just speak to it and have an audience here to listen. You got to think right now, 145 people watching. That's a small room. I could be doing a public stand-up speaking engagement right now, and I'm holding the audience attention of 145 people. That's pretty amazing. I'm thrilled about that, you know, but give us a chance, YouTube. Push us out there. Give these channels a chance. That's my rant for today. Thank you. I'm feeling the love in the comments. Love all you guys.
Would be the third supplemental to be
love you all.
as confusing as possible. So they're talking about the middle two, that the state has not provided certain documents in discovery. Let's see what they have not provided. Number one, Mr. Kohberger requests an order for the state to disclose the following items included in defendant's first supplemental discovery request. Number 43, all body cam and dash cam footage from officers involved in the search and arrest of Bryan Kohberger in Pennsylvania. They have not received the requested materials. So that's interesting. We just watched that together in this video. Maybe they have just the same edited version of what we have and not everything. They absolutely deserve that. It doesn't seem like there's even been an objection, but instead they just haven't provided it. Request number 49, all lab testing, including photograph and color diagrams and bench notes, including but not limited to copies of lab reports detailing the forensic evidence collection and analysis of items recovered at Bryan Kohberger's parents' house, trash cans, and other receptacles, and Bryan Kohberger's Hyundai Elantra.
Here's something that I really, really urge people to do too. When these documents dump, and if you don't have the link, I'm going to send the link in the chat. I'm going to do this for everybody. When these documents dump, I'm actually going to see if there's any been released today. Nothing today. There was one yesterday, though. We're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow night. But let me do this. You can go here. That's the Idaho case that has all the files in it for the master file. When these documents dump, take the time to read them. Take the time to look through them and read them. Just don't go off the title. We see a lot of that going on. We're going to be talking tomorrow night about the warrant that was pulled on the Moscow, Idaho lab. We're going to explain that. And that literally could have been cleared up in a 2-second Google search. A 2-second Google search. We're going to talk about that tomorrow on the big show, Saturday Night Live. Agent Chase will be back over here live with me. We have a presentation. If you don't have the link for that, let me drop that really quick. And then I do want to move on because I have other stuff that I need to do this afternoon. So I want to wrap up this show soon. In the next, I think we got 30 minutes left in there, but I'm going to drop this in the chat. That's tomorrow night's show, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go over, click into the link, hit the remind me button, and we're going to do Saturday Night Live. We have a huge presentation for that show. We're going to talk about the warrant on the Idaho lab. And also tonight, I'll be over on the Drunk Turkey show at 8:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to go over and hang out with those guys for a little while. Not going to want to miss that. But let's keep playing through here. I want to end this at about 2 hours today. I think we get another 30 minutes on this. All right, let's check this out.
As of May 4th, they have not received the requested materials, and based on information and belief, these reports contain exculpatory information. Okay, so this is where some of the headlines were coming from. So, again, these lab results are something they asked for in the past with a generic question, like I said, but they've done a third supplemental request that we just read together.
Victorine, that's great.
That is diving deeper and being more specific, but even the generic request
is what
has
makes
not
these
been complied
shows
with the state. And they believe
so good.
It could be exculpatory. Now, what does that mean? Was it an unreasonable search? Was it an unreasonable seizure of the trash? And if it was,
that's right.
The fruit of the poisonous tree would mean they can't
away.
use that stuff at trial against Bryan Kohberger.
On my channel, we give facts based on the case evidence. Facts based on the case evidence. That's what we do here. We don't spin. We don't give conspiracy. I don't get into that here. It's not the aliens. It's not the cartels. It's not the secret. What was the other one that was coming up? The secret tunnels under the house. It's not the space-time continuum translation module. It's not a black hole. They're not on Mars. Elvis didn't do it. Tupac's still alive. It's none of that. It's none of that.
There's ways to get around that, like eventual discovery. Like they would have gotten to his DNA anyways. They had enough for a search warrant. And once they got a search warrant, they would have made an arrest. Once they made an arrest, they would have got his DNA. But those arguments need to be had, and it could be potentially exculpatory if some of this stuff was gathered as part of an unreasonable, unlawful search or seizure.
You can come here.
I don't know if that's
we'll
what they're
give you the
pointing at,
straight
but
facts.
they seem to think something important is there included in the request number 49.
You never know.
ISP and FBI forensic lab results, including but not limited to lab reports 11 and 25. Again, Same kind of deal with number 49, now number 119. All notes, recordings from all officers from Moscow Police Department. They have not received the recordings and notes from the interrogation of Mr. Kohberger by MPD Detective Payne. So it means maybe there is something. Is there a recording? Is there a note? Was there an interrogation? It seems like there may have been, which is very interesting to us. What did he say? Did he make a statement? Is there body cam footage? Is there some kind of interview?
Speaking of Tupac, really quick, did you hear the report about the guy that was in that group, was back in the 90s, called the Fugees? And I forget his name, but apparently he was an FBI informant and he was taking large donations from a really high-powered guy. I believe it was Taiwan or China, and he was trying to pay off those donations into the U.S. government, particularly the Democratic Party, and to try to get, I think he was involved in some money laundering or something like that. But I guess apparently when this all came out, Tupac had said some lyrics in a song like way back in the day that he kind of knew this guy was an FBI informant, and it's pretty crazy. You can probably look it up. Look up, like, Google like Fugees FBI informant. You probably can find some information on that. So it's pretty interesting.
And this is in Moscow.
Joe Rogan was talking about it. Even if you look up like Joe Rogan Fugees FBI in your search, it'll probably come up and you'll get a little bit more background on the case. It's crazy. And this guy's facing like 28 years or something like that.
In Pennsylvania. Number 115, all police reports, audiovisual evidence, and any recorded statements related to Bryan Kohberger's arrest and incarceration in Pennsylvania. Again, some of this stuff seems like they're requesting the same thing over and over again, but you want to make sure you don't give them any opportunity to say, oh, well, you didn't ask for this or you didn't ask it the right way. They have not received the materials. All reports, notes, recordings, and photos. Once again, you would think something as vague as this in the second supplemental request for discovery would be covered in all police reports. All reports and police reports. Police reports is more specific than just reports. Notes, recordings. Also, we have audio, video evidence and any recorded statements. That would fall under recordings. We've seen photographs multiple times here. Also, generally, photographs. They have not received the requested materials, and they believe that these materials contain exculpatory evidence. Now, if you want my opinion,
I'd watch that.
As a lawyer who does some stuff like this and has done some stuff like this,
thank you.
This is kind of generic language. I don't think that they think that there is some smoking gun or the opposite of a smoking gun, some big deal exculpatory piece of evidence in the, photograph or recordings. I think there's a few things they think maybe were done wrong in the investigation by law enforcement, whether it was the search, the seizure, the warrant.
Again, and this is the documents that I was talking about that Ann Taylor is filing to slow this case down, to really get all of this evidence, to make sure that they're ready for trial, and to delay a little bit more of this process. Again, I think this is going to be a while, guys. I think it's going to be, probably not until next year that we see an actual court case if this goes to trial. It's going to be a while, so hang tight.
Something like that, to where they think if the state turns over all the recordings, all the reports, all the memos, all the body cam footage, all the DNA testing, that they may find something. It seems more generic rather than the state is trying to keep exculpatory evidence from Bryan Kohberger and his lawyers. I'm not ready to jump to that conclusion just yet. Number 160, training records of specific officers. They have not received the requested materials. So requested time is 10 minutes for the hearing to make this argument for Kohberger to force the state to turn this stuff over. Now, the state can't just not do it. And that's annoying when that happens, in civil court or in criminal.
Let's give away a membership. We're at 101 likes. On a Friday afternoon, 143 people watching on their lunch break. Let's do this. Let's give away a membership. We're going to give away a membership. Who's going to be the lucky winner? 1 month on me. Let's do it. 1 month on me. 1 month on me. Let's give away a membership. Who's the new member? Who's the new member? Tsunami.
Court. If they have an issue or they don't think you're entitled to that, file an objection, because then
What'd you do?
the
Fall
lawyers
out?
can argue
Fall
about the
out?
law and whether
Huh?
or
You
not it's
forgot to-
appropriate to get
forgot
this
to,
or that, this
up your
recording or that
membership.
memo based on your objection. But if you don't object, we don't
You
know
got
why
caught.
you're not
You
getting it
suspect.
to us as lawyers.
You suspect.
And then we don't even know what to tell the judge. So the judge wants to know what's your objection. That's how we're supposed to handle things like this.
Bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
You suspect.
All right. Next.
How dare you?
Next document we're going to get to is an order vacating
I got you,
and
homie.
setting scheduling conference for motions amended non-dissemination order. A motion to appeal, amend, and or clarify amended non-dissemination order and memo in support of motion for appeal and or clarification was filed by the Gonsalves family on February 3rd. A petition for writ was filed with the Idaho Supreme Court on February 6th. A memo of points and authority filed on February 9th. On February 27th, the court issued a notice regarding the hearing date.
You got a new member.
On April 24th, Idaho Supreme Court issued their
Got a
opinion.
member.
On April 28th, the court issued a notice of hearing setting Gonsalves' motion to appeal. On May 25th, on May
You got a
2nd,
member.
the
New
Associated
member.
Press filed
Feeling
a
the
motion
love.
to intervene and a motion to vacate the non-dissemination order. So they got involved after the Gonsalves family already filed their stuff. So now the Associated Press and all the media is involved with the Gonsalves family, joining it together after they lost from the Idaho Supreme Court. Everybody is coming to the appropriate court now to ask
Thank
her
you,
to get rid of this
Candy.
motion,
Appreciate you.
non-dissemination order, or to amend it in some way so that everybody knows what they can and can't say and the media can have some more involvement. The Gonsalves motion and the AP motion concern the same subject matter, the amended non-dissemination order, and should be set for hearing at the same time for judicial efficiency. Yeah, let's come all argue it together. We've seen stuff like this before in the Lori Vallow case. Therefore, after due consideration, it's hereby ordered that the motion to appeal and amend the non-dissemination order scheduled for May 25th is vacated. It's further ordered that a scheduling conference regarding all the motions dealing with the non-dissemination order will be moved to May 22nd at 10 a.m. Any recording or live streaming of the Zoom is prohibited, so we will not be able to watch it together. Silly me for thinking that any moment in time could go by in this case without something new happening. So we just finished looking at the judge's order that was dated May 4th, setting a hearing on May 22nd. And it's not a hearing to argue about that non-dissemination order. It is to schedule the hearing to argue the non-dissemination order. So the judge has kicked out this issue till May 22nd. And then at that time, everybody's going to show up and figure out when we can get together in the future to argue about this non-dissemination order. Well, on the day I was originally recording this, May 9th, the media conglomerate was not happy with that order, and they have since filed a motion to reconsider that order and a memorandum in support of that. So we are slipping this in this part of the video to talk about this before we get to the last document that we're going to review together. It seems like something is literally happening every single day in this case.
To slow things
And there
down.
was, in fact, a motion to reconsider, and this is the memorandum in support of that because they say basically the same things. This is just a little more in depth. So that's why we're going to focus on this. And again, you can see the media conglomerate that is joining together and filing this, the same media conglomerate that filed their motion up to the Idaho Supreme Court and was kicked back to the lower court. And that's important context as we read this memo. With each passing day, the amended non-dissemination order dated January 18, 2023, the gag order, causes irreparable harm. At every step, interveners have acted quickly to vindicate their constitutional rights and to stop that irreparable harm. So they are saying that we need this done now because every day we wait is causing harm, is violating our constitutional rights, is violating the rights of the public. The Idaho Supreme Court similarly acted quickly on 2 motions to intervene and set an expedited briefing schedule. So we talked about how surprising it was how quickly the Idaho Supreme Court acted and responded to the media's motions and argument about this gag order. Respectfully, this court, meaning the lower court's decision to hold a scheduling conference, again, it's important that it's a scheduling conference, not the actual hearing, on May 22nd, 2023, instead of scheduling interveners' motions for the next available hearing date and following the briefing schedule set in Idaho Rule of Civil Procedure 7B3 and Idaho Criminal Rule 45C, adds at least 3 weeks of additional irreparable harm while the parties wait for a hearing date and a briefing schedule. So what's the issue here? The media thinks that this court is basically kicking the can down the road, delaying their opportunity to argue this. And let's think about how this goes. If this hearing is in fact May 22nd, that only leaves about a month until the actual preliminary hearing. So within 1 month, all these media companies, the lawyers, the defendant, the prosecution, the judge, all have to find a time that can all get together and argue this motion.
Right.
To get rid of the gag order or amend the gag order or clarify the gag order, including the victims and their families and their lawyers. So let's say if this took 3 weeks to schedule, just the scheduling conference, let's say it takes another 3 weeks to schedule that hearing. Now we're in mid-June. And let's say the judge takes the hearing and the motions and the arguments under advisement and she issues her order later. Well, let's say she takes a week or maybe 2 weeks to issue her order. Well, now we're into the June 26th arena, an area where the preliminary hearing is going to start. And at that point, does it just become moot?
All right, let's see. Live has been a member for a month. She's been recognized here, so we want to just give her the recognition. Thank you for the support over this last month. You've helped grow this channel. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep playing. I want to wrap this one up.
If the judge does not find probable cause and it goes away, it's 2
gone. 2 hours on a Friday.
The public and the media's rights have been trampled on potentially. Now, if the judge likely does find probable cause, then she'll have to determine or make a decision about this motion and this memo and this non-dissemination order and how it's going to apply to the rest of the case. But either way, the process that we're going through right now with the discovery, all the documents we're talking about in today's case, in today's video, or potentially even the body cam footage that we're talking about in today's video, all of that could be restricted or the comments on it restricted based on this gag order. And that is irreparable harm, at least arguably, by the media companies. And I'll talk about at the end what I think and what I agree or disagree with what they're arguing, but at least that makes some logical sense. So what do they propose we do? To avoid that additional irreparable harm, interveners, meaning the media companies, request that the court reconsider its order dated May 4th, 2023, and either do one of these things. 1, stay enforcement of the gag order pending a decision on interveners' motion to intervene and motion to vacate the amended non-dissemination order to avoid any additional irreparable harm while motions are briefed. So one thing that kind of annoys me is they put gag order here in parentheses. So they're supposed to call it gag order, but they keep calling it the non-dissemination order. But either way, they're saying first, if you're going to push us out 3 weeks and then even more weeks to set up the actual hearing to argue these motions, stay the gag order. Right. Let it be open until you make your decision. Judge ain't going to do that. So what's number 2? Or set a hearing on interveners' motion to intervene and motion to vacate the amended non-dissemination order on the next available date on the court's calendar to trigger the briefing schedule in Idaho Rule of Civil Procedure 7B3 and Idaho Criminal Rule 45C. So that's a much more plausible option. Instead of waiting till May 22nd, when's your next available hearing date? We will show up. We will argue this motion. Or at the very worst, instead of scheduling a scheduling conference on May 22nd, let's just do the hearing on May 22nd and you make your decision on May 22nd. Even that would be better than what you have right now. And I just realized why it's probably not called the gag order here, because in fact, they are stating the actual title of a pleading, which is the motion to intervene and motion to vacate the amended non-dissemination order. So that's my bad for reading this stuff in chunks. For over 4 months, the court's gag order has restricted speech related to this matter without the court holding a hearing or receiving any evidence. The gag order violates the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 9 of the Idaho Constitution, the memorandum in support of the motion to reconsider the order dated May 4th, 2023. The declaration of Wendy J. Olson in support of the motion to reconsider. We're not going to read that together. That's just her putting all the exhibits and everybody that agrees with her, basically.
Right.
Those are constitutional violations of urgent nature. any First Amendment infringement that occurs with each passing day is irreparable. Even a short-lived gag order in a case of widespread concern to the community constitutes a substantial prior restraint and causes irreparable injury to the First Amendment interest as long as it remains in effect. Because each passing day inflicts additional irreparable harm, interveners have worked quickly to vindicate their rights. Within 19 days, which is less time than it's even like taking for this to get to the scheduling conference, or right about the same amount of time, of the court issuing the gag order, interveners organized a nearly 30-person coalition, retained counsel, and filed a challenge in the Idaho Supreme Court. So they all got together, they picked one lawyer or a main lawyer to lead and to file this within the Idaho to the Idaho Supreme Court. And that's true. That is a pretty quick turnaround to get all this done.
Yep.
The Idaho Supreme Court recognized the urgency of interveners' challenge, and within 3 days of interveners refiling their challenge to include a verification signed by the coalition members and not counsel, the Idaho Supreme Court ordered briefing on an expedited basis. And when the Latah County prosecutor and Mr. Kohberger moved to intervene, the Idaho Supreme Court granted their motions without full briefing and without modifying the already set merits briefing schedule. What that means is the Idaho Supreme Court looked at this situation and saw what they filed and everything that was going on in this case. And they didn't wait 3 weeks. They jumped on it like that. I even commented on it. If you want to go back and read what they filed to the Supreme Court, what the Supreme Court said, we did a video on it. It's in the Kohberger playlist. I was shocked at how quickly this was turned around in the Idaho Supreme Court.
They're trying to get it to move.
Now, it didn't necessarily.
But the motions are slowing it down from the defense because they keep asking for documentation, clarification of the evidence. I haven't seen this part of the video, so I'm wondering if he's going to talk about that.
Necessarily affect their decision.
That's what
The
I
media
get out of
company
it.
Still technically lost, but really they were told you have to go through the steps. We think you might have a decent argument with this non-dissemination order.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Supreme Court can move that quickly, if all these media companies can move that quickly, why can't this court? On April 24th, 2023, the Idaho Supreme Court held that a vague, overbroad, unduly restrictive, or not narrowly drawn gag order would be an unconstitutional obstacle to the interveners. Now, they didn't say that this gag order was that, but they said if it was found to be that, it would be unconstitutional. But the Idaho Supreme Court denied interveners' petition because it held that a plain, speedy, and a italicized speedy and adequate remedy at law exists if interveners were to seek relief from this court, meaning the lower court that they're filing this motion to reconsider on. So something that's important to point out here. They don't even care, it seems like, and I would agree with them, if this court even has a hearing. Just make a decision, lower court,
Right.
and make it quickly. If you're going to deny our motion, that's fine. We
You
need
are
an
fake
answer
news.
because without an answer, we can't go to the Idaho Supreme Court. And we think the Idaho Supreme Court's going to agree with us.
Come on, man.
But first, we have to exhaust our other options, and you are our other option right now. But you are supposed to be a speedy option. So the fact that we're taking 3 weeks to even schedule this is a problem and not a speedy option. And I think they're filing all these motions. And if the court doesn't move up the hearing or doesn't move up the scheduling conference,
Bing, bing,
then they
bong,
can go
bong,
back to the
bing,
Idaho
bing,
Supreme
bing.
Court and say, listen, we tried. They denied our right. They denied our speedy remedy. We're stuck. We have nowhere else to go now except to the Idaho Supreme Court, which is something they could not have argued before, and which was ultimately the reason they did not get the outcome they wanted at the Idaho Supreme Court. So win or lose, the media conglomerate and the Gonsalves family and the victims, everybody wants to get rid of or modify this non-dissemination order. They all win if this court just makes a decision. Because if they make a decision and they win on this court, boom, they won.
Mm-hmm.
If the court makes a decision and they lose, they think they can go up to the Supreme Court now
Right.
and win and have exhausted all speedy remedies available to them. There's a lot of legal maneuvering going on.
Mm-hmm. As I said, it's chess, not checkers. It's chess, not checkers.
Following the Idaho Supreme Court's direction, interveners took nearly 7 days to prepare and file their motion to intervene and motion to vacate the amended non-dissemination order. Now, I'm surprised they didn't do it quicker once they got that motion back or the order back from the Idaho Supreme Court. I don't know why they couldn't just basically copy what they sent to the Idaho Supreme Court. But the next day, interveners, after it took 7 days to prepare a motion and they filed it after the Supreme Court said they had to go to this court, the next day, interveners contacted the court to schedule the next available hearing date, which would automatically set the briefing schedule for the motions. Instead of providing a hearing date, and that's the other problem, the court should have just provided them a hearing date, and then they would have known the schedule of when everything was going to happen. So if it was going to be 6 months from now, they could argue to the Supreme Court, but they just don't know. Right now, they're stuck. This court is not giving them the information they need to make decisions. And that's frustrating. Sometimes that happens in cases when judges make certain decisions and they don't give specific enough facts to help us appeal that decision. It's just summarily granted or summarily denied. And that can be frustrating because there are rules in place that allow us to do certain things, and we have tools in our legal tool belt. So instead of providing a hearing date, the court set a scheduling conference on May 22nd, 2023. The court also vacated the May 25th hearing date for a related motion filed by the victim's family, which presumably is, or at least was, available on the court's calendar to hear that motion and intervener's motion. Interveners understand that a briefing schedule for their motions will not be set until after the scheduling conference. So what they have to do in the timeline of when they can do it's not going to be set until they actually have a scheduling conference set. And they're making another good argument that you already had a hearing set on May 25th. Why couldn't we just keep that and piggyback our motion right on top of theirs, which is basically the same thing? We all have a problem with your gag order. So the court got rid of that May 25th hearing, added a May 22nd hearing, but that's only a scheduling conference.
About another 8 minutes.
That's
We're gonna wrap
not the
this one
actual
up.
hearing to argue these motions.
Just on or
And
under
they
2 hours.
make a great point pointing that out,
2
because that does
hours.
delay the process.
What do you want to
Respectfully,
say?
it's
Salon?
always great when
salon.
anybody, including a lawyer, starts out something with
Salon?
respectfully.
Solon.
Waiting 3 weeks from when interveners filed their
Yep,
motion
you're right.
to have a conference to then provide additional time for briefing, prolongs the irreparable harm inflicted by the gag order and contradicts the Idaho Supreme Court's holding that
Oh, you're not
interveners could obtain a
saying-
plain,
Jeez, thanks.
speedy, and adequate remedy by refiling their
So I'm
challenge
not
with
beautiful
this
and
court.
handsome. Thanks.
The Latah County prosecutor and Mr. Kohberger have already briefed the constitutional issues before the Idaho Supreme Court, and they are thus better situated than the typical litigant to satisfy the briefing schedule set in the Idaho Code and the Idaho criminal rules by the next available hearing date. Accordingly, interveners again request this court reconsider its order on dated May 4th and either one, stay the enforcement of the gag order until they actually have this hearing, which is not going to happen, or two, set the hearing at the next available date on the court's calendar to trigger the briefing schedule. Signed, Wendy Olson, who is the lawyer for the media conglomerate. So what do I think about this document? Well, I think they have a pretty good argument. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to win. That doesn't mean the gag order is going to go away. It's definitely not going to get stayed. I think the gag order is either going to be amended by this court or she's going to deny this motion, which is still a win for the media conglomerate because now they can go up to the Idaho Supreme Court where it seems like they had some kind of traction. I think the judge is inappropriately delaying this. Now, listen, I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying she doesn't have other things to do. All the court systems are clogged. Everything takes forever. But this is important. Irreparable harm is being done. If this gag order is in fact unconstitutional, waiting another 3 weeks or 6 weeks or the entirety of time before the preliminary hearing would be irreparable harm, in my opinion. Now, if they lose in this court and they lose in the Idaho Supreme Court, no harm, no foul. But let's at least give the media companies and the victims' families and these lawyers the appropriate legal remedies that are allowed by law. And again, that does not mean they're going to win. It just means they're allowed to make the appropriate arguments where constitutional rights are at issue. And there's nothing they can do to take back this time and get this information out to the public that they feel is incredibly important.
Right.
I think a gag order is okay. Generally speaking, we've talked about this stuff, but I do think it needs to be narrowly tailored and appropriate. And I think it's inappropriate to not allow lawyers for the victims' families to comment on things, especially if they're not giving away any secrets or litigation privilege or anything like that. They should be allowed to comment, my opinion, one man's opinion, but we will see what happens. And either way, I do think that's an unreasonable delay to wait 3 weeks just to schedule this, just to start the ball rolling when we are less than, 6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah.
Less than 2 months away from the preliminary hearing. And just to hammer it home here with our last document, we are going to show the notice of remote hearing on May 22nd at 10 a.m. We will see what happens. The media is going to show up. The Gonsalves family is going to show up. The other victims may show up.
Excuse
It's
me.
about, less than 2 weeks away from now is our next step in this Kohberger case with the non-dissemination order. So a lot of things happening right now. A lot of little nuggets, nothing huge. So what are your questions? What do you want to know? What do you think this indicates? What do you think this motion to compel is and the discovery issues that they're having? Do you think the state is hiding exculpatory evidence? I don't think they are.
I don't think they are.
I think that'd be a bad idea. It's going to
It would
come
be
out
very
regardless. They don't want to violate
No,
Brady.
that's the thing right there that I want everybody to understand. Everybody says that the state is hiding evidence and all of this. This is coming from a lawyer. And he just said, I don't think they are. And it would be a stupid move on their part to hide evidence in this case. So all the other things that you're hearing out there on all these channels about hiding stuff and conspiracy theories, always go back to the facts in this case. Always go back and review those documents. Always go over and look. The truth is in those. You can find them. Believe me, there is a lot about this case in those documents. You just have to be savvy enough to look through them and piece it all together and timeline it. And that's why tomorrow night, you're not going to want to miss tomorrow night's show, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got some new theories to go through based on the case evidence, and we'll be going through that. I'm going to wrap this up really quick and then wrap up the stream and give you my final thoughts.
Or Giglio, we've already had an issue like that come up with one of the officers that was investigating this case. We still haven't fully found out what that is, but maybe we will one day. So it's a really interesting time right now as we're gathering discovery. Oh, and there's one thing I want to hit at the end. A lot of people are asking, did the grand jury proceeding happen without us knowing about it? And they're not even going to do the preliminary hearing. We don't know because the grand jury proceeding would be in secret. But if the grand jury indicts, there's no reason to continue going forward with the preliminary hearing. So what does that mean as far as discovery? Does it all go away? Do they not get any of this stuff? No. It means they don't have to have a preliminary hearing. The defendant is no longer entitled to that, but he will have a first appearance. He'll read what he's charged with from the grand jury. We don't know what evidence was presented in front of the grand jury, but the state presents evidence. They're even supposed to include some evidence that may be bad for them, but they almost always win at the grand jury proceedings. And then he would be indicted, but he would still be, he would still be entitled to all of this discovery. The rules don't change. The fact that they're doing requests for discovery, motions to compel, none of that will change. The state still has to turn over recordings, still has to turn over exculpatory evidence, still has to turn over search and seizure documents, still has to turn over DNA testing and lab results. They still have to turn over all that stuff. It's still going to be part of this case. And Bryan Kohberger, if he takes his case to trial, is going to need all that stuff.
Yep.
So none of that's really going to change.
Right.
But I am here for you to answer your questions. So make sure you get them in the comments. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tragos Law. We're almost at 20K on Instagram. And as soon as we hit that, we're giving away some of the new Lawyer You Know merch from the new merch site. Hit the like button on this video on your way out. And if you've stuck it throughout the entirety of 3 videos and 4 documents filed in the case, a quick hitter update on Bryan Kohberger. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, I am out of here.
Well, there you go. The Lawyer You Know. He is a beautiful man. That's all. I'm secure in my masculinity to say that. He is a beautiful man. He has that long, with the luscious locks that the ladies love. His smile is tan. But Peter, great job on giving the summary on this case. I wanted to play back this to my audience. And again, I have the open invitation. I'd love 30 minutes of your time someday to come over and just hang out on the channel and ask you some of the questions that my audience may have if you are watching this. So again, open invitation to the Lawyer Know, Peter Tragos. We love your opinion. We love your expertise on these cases. You are very credible in my opinion, and we love playing your content here on my channel. So please, I hope it's okay. All right, I'm going to end this Friday afternoon. Did a 2-hour session here with all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out, liking, sharing, subscribing. Let's give a quick update. Really quick. Where are we at? And I love the love. I see all the love there. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate you. We're so close. We're at 4297. So hopefully in the next couple of minutes to an hour, we'll get to 4,300 on our way to $5,000 before the date of hopefully the preliminary hearing in June 26th. I hope we can hit 5,000 before that. Tomorrow night, I left the link there. Please come over and join the Super Show. We're going to have Agent Chase back on the case. We have a huge presentation to go through for you all, give you some other opinions based on case evidence. You all have a great afternoon. I guess I'm going to be on Drunk Turkey tonight at 8:35 p.m. You can go over there and hang out with us. I'll see you all then. All the new people in the chat, all the new subscribers that came over, all the people that hang out, all the super chats, all the new members. Love you all. You know how to get in touch with me. The opinionated idiot at gmail.com. If not, I'll see you in the Discord group. That's going to be it. We're going to head out. Have a great day. Be safe. See you next show. Bye-bye.
Thank you.